Welcome back traders to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be breaking down some setups I have for you guys for the week ahead, starting off with GBPJPY. Before we jump into it, I would like to ask you guys to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as this would help the algorithm on YouTube to grow my channel. Now, let's start off with the GBPJPY. Now, let's go on the daily time frame, the higher time frame, to get a better understanding of what's actually happening with the overall trend. Now, the overall trend, I see right here that we have multiple doji candlesticks right here. Obviously, in essence, what that means is on the lower time frames is just a consolidation. So obviously, if we were to drop down on the 4-hour, you can see that the market is just moving sideways and there's no clear directional bias. We did have some downwards push here, but then we failed to create new lower lows. So for that reason, we're just moving sideways. Now, we can use this to our advantage, as we can identify a key level of support and key level of resistance, and then we can just trade between those levels. So let's hop onto the line chart and let's try to look for these key level of supports. And I see right here, we have a nice level of support. And I'm just going to copy and paste this. And the level of resistance is just going to be right here. Now let's hop on back to the candlesticks, and you guys can see we have a nice range for GBPJPY. I'm also just going to draw this on as well, just in case price happens to break this level of resistance. We could have a new target towards the upside, which would be the highs of the market. Now, what I would like to see for GBPJPY, because it's moving sideways and there's no clear directional bias for at the given time, short term, I would like to see price come into this level once again, have a rejection like how it did over here and over here, have a rejection, and then right here we can look for a nice buy opportunity back towards our level of resistance. And then once we have a rejection here at the top, we can then look for another sell position back towards the downside. So that's essentially what I'm looking at right now. However, if price happens to break this level of support, we would then look for the retest and then the continuation, and then we would be looking for a downwards market. However, if price happens to hold this level of support, which seems like the most probable scenario, the way that we had an inside bar and then a follow through with this bullish candlestick, I would like to see price come down for the retest and then a buy opportunity back towards the upside. And if this level of resistance breaks, then obviously we can look for the break, retest, and target the highs of the market. Now, with this setup, we will be looking for a nice 1, 2, 3 risk reward, or maybe even more. So we would enter off of around this level. Stop loss would just be around here, and our take profit would be around here. So around 1 to 4 risk reward ratio. And if price happens to break this level of resistance, then again, we would have a 1 to 4 risk reward ratio here as well. So both ways, I'm prepared to enter a trade on GBPJPY. Let's move on to the second pair now. EURAUD is the second pair that I want to talk about. So last week we had a breakthrough of this level of resistance. We came down for that retest. We actually bought this pair around here, and we were in profit for quite some time. Ultimately, we did hit take profit, but we had closed it earlier when price was coming back down here. I believe we closed this at around 9%, if I remember correctly. However, it was a good trade that we entered, and we had some nice profits. We saw that price came into this level, found a level of resistance as expected, and we had a strong bearish shooting star. Now, what we could see is that we could see price come back down into this level of support. If that occurs, then we would simply be looking for either a break to the downside or a simple break or a bounce towards the upside back again. So essentially, we're just waiting on this pair. There's no clear entry right now. We just have to wait for price to come back into this level of support before we can consider our next possible move. If price happens to break this level of resistance, then our next target would be this level right here, which, as you guys can see, is a strong level of resistance for EURAUD, and we would be looking for a trade opportunity on this with around a 1 to 2, or maybe potentially so around 1 to 2.5 risk reward ratio on this trade. Not too good, but it's still, if depending on how price action develops, we could actually enter this position. Either way, obviously I'm ready to enter a position on EURAUD once price action tells us it's a good, and we can actually go ahead and safely enter. Now, the third setup I have for you guys is EURCAD. So EURCAD has been doing very well. We actually had a breakthrough of this level of consolidation. We broke towards the upside. We had a bearish engulfing here. And then we had an inside bar here as well with a nice follow through. So what I'll be expecting is, you guys can see we did have some rejections here. I would like to see price come back down into this level of support, and then we can look for either a break or bounce scenario. Again, very similar to our EURAUD setup, because obviously there is some correlation between EURCAD and EURAUD. Obviously, if price happens to break this level of resistance, we would then be looking for a buy opportunity. But for the time being, I do believe that we could see price actually come back towards the downside because of this rejection right here that we are seeing at this current level of resistance. Now, the last setup I want to share with you guys is USDCHF. USDCHF overall, we are in a bearish market. We clearly seen. We see that price is pushing towards the downside. We also had this huge bearish engulfing on Friday, and we engulfed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, almost 9 candlesticks. So this is a huge potential bearish engulfing that we could see price actually break this level of support and continue to push towards the downside. However, we still have to be prepared for the other side of the bias as well. And so essentially, I'm just looking for either a break or a bounce. So over here, we'd be looking for a bounce, and over here, we'd be looking for a break. And either way, I'd be prepared. If price happens to hold this level of support, we would then be looking for price to come into this level once again before looking for a short position. And this would give us around a 1, 2, 3 trade here as well, which is pretty good considering that it's USDCHF and considering we're only looking to make around 70 pips on this. All right, so I hope this video helped you guys. If you guys aren't already in my Telegram, I highly recommend you guys join this, because I'm updating daily on these setups and other setups that I come across as the week progresses. So join my Telegram. I'll leave the link in the bio, and I hope to see you guys in my next video.